The accidental decapitation by elevator. On August 16, 2003, a 35-year-old surgical resident arrived for his shift at Christus St. Joseph Hospital in Houston, Texas. The 35-year-old surgical resident had spent years training to save lives. That morning, he walked the familiar corridors of the hospital, passing near the medical library where he often studied between surgeries. It was a routine Saturday that would end in anything but routine. At approximately 9:30 a.m., he approached the second-floor service elevator. He pressed the call button and waited as the door slid open. What he couldn't know was that the safety mechanism on this particular elevator had malfunctioned. The doors were closing and opening erratically, a problem that maintenance staff had been alerted to but hadn't yet fixed. As he stepped partially into the elevator, the doors suddenly began to close. They clamped around his shoulders and head. In that instant, before he could react, the elevator car began to rise. The mechanical system hadn't registered an obstruction. It continued its programmed journey upward. The force was immediate and deadly. His body was caught between the rising elevator car and the concrete floor above. His head and shoulders were pulled upward while his body remained outside the elevator. The mechanical pressure against his neck was enormous. What happened next was witnessed by a nurse who was already inside the elevator. The rising force partially severed his head from his body. The separation wasn't complete, but it was extensive enough that death was instantaneous. The nurse, trapped inside with his remains, frantically pressed the emergency button. When emergency responders arrived minutes later, they found a scene so horrific that several experienced hospital staff had to turn away. The elevator had to be manually lowered to retrieve what remained of the doctor's body. Blood had spread across both the inside of the elevator car and the second-floor hallway. Investigators later determined that proper maintenance would have prevented the tragedy. The elevator's proximity sensor had failed, allowing it to move with its doors partially obstructed.